And what is up, everyone? I am Joe DeHoyos. I'm the host of Beyond the Woodline. I hope I get a big audience tonight. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but this is probably going to be a better show than what's on TV. Definitely better than halftime, I think, my own personal
Yeah.
biased opinion. But yeah, real quick before we get the show started, just want to let you guys know and remind you guys you have any strange encounters, strange experiences, whether it be out in the woods, at home. Uh, you see something in the sky you can't explain, man, hit me up, beyond.woodline@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you, hear your story. I promise you I won't think you're too crazy. I go out looking for Bigfoot in my spare time, so, there you go. There you have it. I'm just as crazy as you guys are. And with
Hmm.
that being said, these two crazy guys here, Tracy and Tom, which one's which? I forgot to ask, man.
I'm Tom.
I'm Tracy.
Okay, cool, cool. And during the our pre-show technical difficulties, one thing I always tell my guests is if you can't talk about something, don't worry about it. We'll skim over it. Just say you can't talk about it or you won't talk about it. Pretty simple. So, but I try not to get too personal. I don't think I get too personal anyway. I've never had that
Yeah.
happen. So, you know, but just
Uh,
so you guys know, if you can't talk about something, man, don't worry about it. But
very good.
with that being said, man, if you guys want to talk about yourselves real quick and what got you into this, and I don't know who wants to go first, Tracy or Tom.
I'll let Tom go first. Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Well, about we've been doing this for about 4 years, but before that, I was basically, you watching all the TV shows, reading the books. Me and my daughter, she's 18 now. We're kind of into it. We did a couple of hunts ourselves. I called Tracy one day and I said, "What do you think about being paranormal? Checking out the paranormal?" And I really think he was kind of like, okay, at first. But man, he's turned out to be pretty awesome now. I think we both are very passionate about it. But we've been doing it about 4 years. We've got some good evidence out there. What else? I mean,
Yeah, and of course I'm Tracy, and yeah, Tom's right. He called me one day out of the blue and just, hey, you want to go hunting? It's like I was getting my gun ready to go shoot deer or pick some mushrooms or something, and
Right.
he, he's talking about the paranormal field, and when I was a kid, he always kind of felt something here and there wherever we went places. So I was always kind of interested, but I wasn't
Right.
full blown into it. You have family, you have kids, you have all that stuff. You get older, and time is just of the essence. You don't really have much time, and it just so happened to be at the right time to join up with Tom. We've been best friends our whole life for the most part. Known second grade, and
second grade.
yeah, and then we just decided to go start going at it, and that's what we did. So
Yeah,
That's
put a
cool.
team together.
So tell me a little bit about that paranormal and how you got that started and how you got that going.
How do we get it going? All right. Well, that stands for, because we get this question all the time. What does T.H.A.T mean? Well, basically, it's Tom, Heather, Amy, Tracy.
or Tracy, Heather, Amy, Tom is the way I
Yeah,
like it.
Tracy likes to say that too. We came up with that name. Basically, it's just our initials, but it turned out to be worked out pretty good.
Right.
As far as we just started out doing like cemeteries, started out slow and kind of worked our way up to doing like a group hunt. I remember we did a group hunt, went to Mineral Springs Mall in Alton together. And
they did Ashmore Estates and stuff like that. So, the cool thing is that we live right near Alton, Illinois, and Alton, Illinois is a big hub for the paranormal field. There's a lot of stuff in this area that we can go hunt. So that's what we did right off the bat. Tom said we hit a lot of cemeteries. Then we started diving into public hunts with each other and maybe going on one or two of some other teams. Then the tricycle video that you got, that actually came from like our 5th hunt from up at Ashmore Estates up in Charleston, Illinois. And yeah, we've just been kind of going. We do a lot of private hunts. We try to go live with those for the most part, but then there's some people that don't want us to do anything with them, so we got to kind of keep it quiet.
Respect the privacy.
Yeah, but we were going live with our hunts about 4 years ago, and we built up a pretty decent following. So yeah.
But
Yeah, man, that's really cool, guys. What was like your first validation of something paranormal? Was that before you started the team, or is this after you started the team when you first like, holy shit, there is something to all this?
Well, I was like 8 or 9 years old. I lived in a town called Farmers City, Illinois, and we lived in a 2-story house, and we always had pans falling in the kitchen. There was always a banging. There was always something going on.
Oh.
Up in Monee, Illinois, which is where we had moved to Farmer City from, my dad used to recall having a lot of issues there. So it's almost like it followed us. And then I grew up here in Wood River after that. And, the house I was in, I never really felt comfortable. I always heard things, always saw shadows, stuff like that. But like I said, you kind of just wisp it away whenever you're a younger kid, so.
Yeah. And basically I felt like my whole life, there's either something, you wake up, you heard about the 3 o'clock hour in the morning. It's considered like the devil's hour or something like that. It seemed like I always used to wake up at 3 a.m. And I don't know if it was like a sign, but I always felt like somebody was always there, if that makes sense. Not all the time, but you always felt like who's around me. But I think one of the biggest validations that Tracy and I had, we were out at the cemetery, one of our first hunts, and we had this little girl. Her name was Lucy Haskell, and we had a ball sitting there, and the ball actually started to spin, rolled, and then rolled back. The bad thing is that's when we learned that you never turn the camera off until you are leaving, because we did not get it on film, but we saw it. It was like, holy crap, this is real.
It's just like the tricycle. The tricycle was caught on tape by accident. It wasn't caught because we're filming. We tried to get the tricycle to move Ashmore Estates on the 3rd floor on a level concrete surface. Sat there for 2 hours with it. Did not do nothing, but we had the EMF was going crazy. The boxes were spitting out words like crazy. Then all of a sudden it stopped for like 10 minutes, and then we thought, well, hey, let's go to a different room. And Tom's daughter was actually working the camera at that time, and as we walked out, she just kind of turned it like this as we're walking, not think of anything. So the next day is when we actually edited and saw that video. Tom saw it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you play back. Yeah. Times, like, did that really move?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, a while ago when I asked you to send it to me, I was showing, my girlfriend and my son. They're like, holy shit, So you already brought it up a couple times. Let's put it on the screen so people can see it.
Yeah. It's Ashmore Estates, the 3rd floor, and it's not the. We like we said, she just put the phone down, so it kind of goes a little bit in and out. She wasn't planning on filming this.
Yeah, there you go.
Back and forth, going backwards. That's crazy.
It's real quick, but it's ones you gotta,
Yeah, we're gonna play it again. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. And then 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did one up in Alton, and I have a camera that's built for that paranormal from an engineering friend, the guy that co-designed Paralink.com, and it's called an anomaly camera. So we just set it up in a room. It's got the infrared and all that. It has an EMF on it. It has the Ovilus spits out words, stuff like that. But it was just sitting in there, and it caught an orb flying at. It's on my Facebook page, and it's on Paralink.com too. We caught an orb flying towards a door. Nobody's in there. And as soon as it hit that door started slowly opening. Right. And it's one of the old cabinets that's really hard for the door to open. We walk up to, you have to pull on it to get it to open. That thing just opens straight up. So that was pretty neat.
It's on our page too.
Yeah, it's on to that paranormal page as well. So
okay. Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Paralink, or was that what it's called?
Yeah,
Paralink.com?
Paralink.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why don't you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So it's just it's about a month and a half old. Started the day after Christmas. Just kind of started throwing it out there. Sean Miller, who's a friend of mine from work, he and I were talking in the break room one day about what we could do with the paranormal field. He'd already made equipment for us and stuff, and he's kind of itching to do something else. And I said, what about some type of LinkedIn? Like the LinkedIn, so people can advertise their stuff. Well, if you look around, there are web directories out there for paranormal. There's one I think starting up right now. I saw the other day, but we started thinking about what about Facebook and the paranormal, because now you go to Facebook, and if you looked at a mattress that day, right, you're going to get an ad for a mattress all day long on your Facebook. But we also talked about how could we make it free for everybody, because Facebook's free. It's a great site. It is. Everybody has their own pages, but they all have their own pages. Why not have one hub where everybody is? So Sean took 2 weeks. He had two. We have 2 weeks off for Christmas. He did it at that time, and he built the whole site in that 2 weeks for the most part. He's been doing coding since he was 10 years old. So he built that, and he's still every day he's adding something. He may not notice it, but there's something being added. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, 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 that's pretty cool. And it's just Paralink.com, right?
Oh yeah. It's a social media site, so you're able to comment on people's stuff. You're able to like their stuff. There's a little video camera on there on the homepage next to post to the community. You can take that camera. I call it the shout out camera, but it's also an evidence camera. You click on it, and if you're on a hunt or just whenever, you have 1 minute, just like TikTok. You have 1 minute to film a message or to film a video or to edit a video off your hunt and put on there. It goes straight to your camera phone, and you click post, and it automatically posts. You don't have to do anything else. So that's a pretty cool feature. We got a private messenger coming up here within the next week. So people will be able to talk to each other in private. There's a following feature. There's a lot of categories: UFOs, cryptids is our new one that's getting ready to come out. There's a gear on there. So Sean, like I said, he makes equipment and gear that he'd be interested in selling. He hasn't said he would sell them, you know what I mean? But he'd be interested. It's pretty cool. It is.
Well, that's cool, man. You guys ever need me to share something or promote something before you hit me up, and I'll share it away, and or just tag me.
Share both of them if you can. That Paranormal and Paralink, man, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And just like you can go to that site Paralink.com and share anything you want, and guess what? It's free, right?
Nice. Yeah.
A big thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can share it. We have a lot of people on there advertising their hunts, their upcoming events, and we've had one person that had a little bit negative feedback because they didn't like to see those ads of people doing that, but it's no different than what they're doing on
anything else.
Yeah. We want them to advertise. That's the thing. As long as it's paranormal, advertise. Now, if it was for Walgreens and the pharmacy or something, obviously we're not going to, we're going to block them. We're not going to let them do that.
Right.
But yeah. So
absolutely,
that's cool, man. So
it's really neat. Everybody knows.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I'll encourage everyone to go there, and I'll definitely share the link too. I'm not sure if it's in the description. I think I did put it in the description, but if it's not, I'll add it.
I think you had it in the picture that you sent out, the flyer, the little flyer thing. It said Paralink on it. So that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So is this all a family affair? That Paranormal?
That Paranormal, we've all known each other since high school. Tom and I have known each other for longer than that.
Yeah. Heather and Amy. Amy is married to my cousin Mike, and she had mentioned that she was always interested in it. So she's kind of like our researcher. Supposed to, she'll look up the information and what during our hunts, when we do a live hunt, she'll sit there and watch it and answer questions that people have. Could we try to get the people involved that are watching our hunts? Something we missed, they might, hey, I heard this. Go check that room. Stuff like that. But
yeah, and Heather dives into the
history.
She dives into the history, and then we have a guy named Brian Lewis that is a private investigator, and he gets us a lot of information on the homes that we go to do. And of course, my wife Kelly, she is our camera person. She's been there pretty much for every hunt too. Running the camera for us. So we try to keep it all tight knit, Yeah. And we're nonprofit too. We don't charge anybody to do hunts. When we do group hunts, if we do charge anything, it's just to pay for the overall cost. We don't charge extra, try to make profit off of it. So,
yeah, man, that's good. And just real quick, hi, John and Laura from the Ghost of Wales, UK. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate that.
Hey, John and Laura.
Hi, guys.
Go to paralink.com, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. And provide feedback.
Yeah.
Please. So that being said, just one last thing on Paralink, then I'll get off the soapbox. We accept, this is the community. We accept feedback. If you go to the homepage, there's actually a comment section at the bottom of the homepage. If you have any feedback, you have any ideas, please give them to us. We're not out to steal the ideas. Don't get me wrong. We're just out trying to see if they make sense, and if they make sense, then we could make it a reality. We want it to be a good group of people on there. Nobody realizes how many people are in the paranormal field. Do you ever notice that, Joe? There's, oh my God, there's millions. There's millions of people in the paranormal field. Some people are ashamed, like they feel the medium stuff, they feel all that, but they think they might be, out there, but they're not. They need a place to go. And I think that's why the paranormal fields with everybody is just exploding right now.
Yeah.
You look at Facebook and everybody's gaining members left and right. I think that we had somebody from Tokyo, Japan, join Paralinked last week.
Was that Irene?
She's like, I believe so. Yeah.
Oh,
is that right? Yeah. She said
it might be Irene.
It might be. I'd have to double check. But
Yeah.
she said, I'm afraid to say anything to anybody over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna try to get her on my show, but
yeah, and then and we got tons of people from the UK. We got more from the UK, I think, than we do from the United States right now. Yeah, I mean, UK's really exploded over there. So.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of good people in the UK too. I actually like a lot of people in the UK. I've had a few of them on the show, and man, they're just so great. They're great people over there.
Yeah. And what I like about Paralink too is you can go there, and it basically, nobody's going to trash anybody for doing it. You can go there and just talk to one another. Like he said, they're getting ready to get the new, where you can message each other without
everybody seeing it.
Yeah, without anybody seeing it. Or you can just get on there and vent, like, hey, this happened, or, just what do you call it? Unity. Yeah. Just like get together and hang out.
And something I'm going to ask you, Joe, is I've been reading a lot of articles lately on different Facebook web pages about ego in the paranormal. Do you have any thoughts of that? Have you heard anything about that?
I don't. I haven't seen anything like that, but I do have my thoughts about that, and unfortunately I do see some of these egos take over. It's really unfortunate. It's very few and far between, but anytime it does happen, it looks bad on the community, and
agreed.
Yeah,
and just like me coming from the Bigfoot world, anytime you have something bad happen like that, nobody wants to come out, nobody wants to come forward, and it just makes everyone's job harder. And I think, no matter if it's Bigfoot, cryptids, paranormal, UFO, aliens, it seems like there's always a certain clique that wants to wear the tiara, and part of why I do the show is so I can share information and share data and hopefully bring people together and hopefully give people a platform to talk about their experiences, and to make them feel like they're not alone. And those very, very few bad apples can ruin the whole, ruin it for everyone else. But I say, I say overall, I mean, there's just so many great people in every field, and we just got to keep chugging along and keep moving forward, and don't let the bad apples, spoil the whole bunch.
Hey, yeah,
Absolutely.
great. And you'll see cryptids on paralink.com. I think by the end of next week, we were talking about the Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and all that stuff.
Okay,
Um,
dude, if you add that on there, let me know, and I've got some of my stuff, the pictures and
Yeah.
Boy, we
photos.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on there,
articles,
right?
any of
I
that.
know, right?
Bigfoot's not, no.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Hey, so I'm gonna let Tom explain, but we had an experience from another crew. Whenever we were going to that, remember that house?
Yes. We had a location. We met the people at Dairy Queen, and we talked about everything that was going on. And
She thought she had an incubus in her house.
Yeah. So we were gonna go and just investigate it, see if we can help her in any way or guide her a direction. Well, apparently there was another group that had been there before us, and they basically told her that if they brought us in, that they weren't going to help her ever again, and basically trash talk, not trash talk, but
Well, basically, she asked us not to come. So
yeah, she said, "Don't come because
to
I
me,
don't want to ruin it."
to me, if I'm having an incubus or a demon in my house, I'm having priests, I'm having the bishop, I'm having everybody I know, every team in the area coming up to try to help out. It was really amazing to me that another crew was like that.
Yeah,
that's why I brought up the whole eagle thing. I mean, we've noticed it once. Everybody we've ever met in person has been awesome.
Yeah.
But that was the only negative time I think I had. It was amazing to us.
And we couldn't figure out why, what did they care? We were going to keep it private. We weren't going to be like, oh, look at us, we're doing this. But we wanted to help her, and you could see the fear in her eyes. She was pretty scared. She didn't. I need help, and just to be shut down like that, and then never hear from her again. It's like, why would this other group do that?
And it had been following her from house to house.
Yeah.
And she did move again because my guy I worked with was her neighbor. That's how we found out about her. She had reached out to him. But she has moved since. And of course, he hasn't heard anything from her.
Right.
But it's just, kind of sad that, and we're free. We weren't going to charge her anything. So,
right.
But I don't know.
So,
so you guys mentioned that incubus. Have you been in a position where you yourself have been scared?
So I went to a hunt last year in Iowa, the Edinburgh Manor. And as me and my wife went up to the Field of Dreams, we spent the whole weekend up there, just kind of messing around. And I brought a couple things with me to hunt with. And we hit the Redstone Inn, which is in Dubuque, Iowa, which is an old mansion. It's like 1850s mansion. It's a beautiful place. We hunted there. That wasn't too bad, all the lights on and everything. But we went to that Edinburgh Manor. It's an old poorhouse from the 1800s. And the lights, they turn the lights off. And at night, I mean, it's just pitch black. And the basement with the lights on is creepy. My wife wouldn't even go down in the basement after it got dark. Yeah. So, yeah, that one, I was down there and you could feel the energy. It was holy cow.
Now, me, on the other hand, I'd have been the first one to go down there. I would. I'm like, let's go. But
yeah,
I wasn't at this one. But yeah, even for him to tell me, he's like, no, it freaked him out. I could tell by the way he was telling me, and his wife,
Yeah, we went live from there. It is on our Facebook page, that Paranormal.
Yeah.
But it was I was with another group. They were kind enough to last minute let us go with them because we were looking for places last minute. And boy, they did a good job with their stuff. But I learned a lot from them. But man, that was creepy.
Yeah. I would love that.
What about you, Joe? You ever been anywhere like that?
Yeah.
I went to Mineral Wells, Texas, the Haunted Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
Now, yeah, that place wasn't scary. Everything that happened there was very mild, I guess you could say, But I lived in a house that we had paranormal activity, and
wow.
I was poked in the ribs, like if you reached over and kind of jabbed Tom in the ribs. It's the same sensation, just like someone, when you're playing around. Yeah, yeah, just like that. I got poked in the ribs. And we heard footsteps. Saw shadows. I saw a shadow. My son saw a shadow. Well, what
Really?
he saw was like a smoky figure, and he said that it squatted down next to him. He saw it moving out of the corner of his eye. He was sitting on the couch watching TV, and he caught some movement right here out of the corner of his eye. And when he looked, he saw a figure, a human figure, reaching out with its finger like this, and that it just touched his finger, his forearm. He said all the hair stood up on his forearm, and then it disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was trying to
Yeah.
upload some orbs, but it wouldn't let me. So I'll send you that separately. I know there's a big debate about what orbs are, but
Yeah.
but we got a really good EVP. My son at the time he was young. He was maybe 15, 16, and
Hmm.
I had my Bigfoot recorder, and my daughter woke me up. Well, she didn't wake me up. I was in the living room watching TV. She came over there and said, "Hey, Dad, I saw a dark figure go from one corner of the room to the other corner." She goes, and it kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
So I told my son, I said, "Hey, go get my recorder. You know what I use when I go Bigfoot, do my Bigfoot thing." So I didn't know it, but he went, he got it, and he went straight to the girls' room. And he came out, he was white as a ghost. He's like, "Dad,
Wow.
you got to hear this." And he hit play, and it said, he says, "Is there anybody here with us?" And you hear a voice go, "Yeah." It's just like that.
Just clear as
Man, that was
day.
creepy. But that house, it was, there was nothing, I would say, ill intent. And, even though we got scared to a certain point, I don't think anything was really trying to scare us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I woke up one night and there was like a figure standing on the side of my bed, freaked me out, of course.
For
Um,
sure.
Faucets would come on. So yeah, it was a strange place.
Oh no,
Now,
yeah.
And
now
I,
that,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That reminds me of the
And I was
house
gonna
we
say,
just did in Alton.
yeah,
They said that
no,
they
no,
see shadows go from one corner to the other corner. The little kid that lives there, how old is he?
Yeah, like 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was outgoing about it. He said, "Yeah, I see it squat down in the corner." That's what reminded me when you said that. Um, it said it was definitely a black shadow figure,
Yeah.
and the husband there said that he was laying in bed one night and he felt the bed just like down, like somebody's sitting, and he was like, "Oh hell no, I'm out." Got
Hmm.
up and it's like trying to make it like it really didn't happen, but it did.
yeah.
But
That
same
happened to
thing,
me
and all
twice.
the hair stood up. You know.
That happened to me twice. We had just moved in there, and I don't think we were in there 2, 3 days. And at the time, I had a boxer. He was a big boxer. He was like 75 pounds.
Mm.
And I felt the bed go down, and I thought it was him trying to sneak on the bed because he wasn't allowed on the bed. And I sat up real quick, like, "Get your ass off the bed." And there was nobody there. And then maybe like a
Wow.
week or so later, I felt it again. And when I sat up, because I thought it was him, I didn't see anybody there. And I went outside and I told I told my family, I said, "This house is haunted." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, it is." And they all started telling me stuff that happened to them. It was
Oh
Huh.
pretty
wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up, huh?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me now.
Yeah.
Now, have you moved from that house since?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I moved there.
Okay.
There's,
And it's never followed you?
after my divorce, but from what I understand, it's there's
Yeah.
still activity there. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I
Wow.
want to show you a picture real quick too. This has nothing to
Absolutely.
do with paranormal, but
That's all
this
right.
is something that I got when I went to the Savings Forest. This was in a creek, and that
Ah,
creek's about
Bigfoot.
8. Yeah, it's only about 8 inches long,
Yeah.
so we're thinking it was like a juvenile. Yeah,
Yeah. See, the Gatorade bottle makes it, you can really tell.
yeah.
That's wow.
So how much stuff have you found on Bigfoot? I've never
We found
followed it
quite a few
too close.
prints. We have found quite a few prints in the San Francisco Forest in multiple locations. Man, we have found tree breaks and like branches. They're not broken, but they're twisted.
Oh
Like
wow.
like you're wringing out like a dish rag. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have found a bunch of those, and I got a picture of one really good one. And
Mm.
then, of course, one of my main partners right now. His name's Walter. He actually had an encounter. That's what got him doing investigating. And so we go out to his area quite a bit, and that's where we had
Yeah.
found. I mean, we had probably found about 7 or 8 footprints out there.
Yeah, you always see on like caught on camera, caught on tape on the Travel Channel. I've seen a couple different ones, where they think they saw Bigfoot, and you always see on the internet, of course, now in the news feed, you even see like reputable sources saying that they saw, that they have Bigfoot a sighting on from one of the satellites in the sky saw it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've never really followed the Bigfoot thing too close, but I'm interested. It's definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
Who is that? Oh, what's her name? It's her husband. They're in Colorado.
Oh, Angie Johnston.
Yeah. Have you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's in Colorado, and they're big Bigfoot people.
Yeah, they are.
They're looking all the time.
Enigmatic Explorers, I think is the name of their group.
So you know
One
who
of
she
them.
is, Angela.
Yeah, we went on we did a podcast with them a year ago or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met Angie. I've never met Paul. Is that his name?
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super nice people.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great people, man. Great people.
Yeah, I message them every once in a while, and they always reply, and they always have
Yeah, they're
answers.
good people.
And that's great. Like I said, man, most of the people, everybody we've met in person or email and stuff like that, super nice people. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I can't complain about anyone that I've met. And even with those that I have a disagreement with, it never gets ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you think this and I think that, and that's great. And that's the way it should be. I think. We shouldn't always agree on everything.
Right.
yeah, there should always be a good, calm debate that
Yeah.
comes out with a solution and not without having to argue about it.
Yeah. And I think that makes you at least think and use your brain. Think about where you're coming from and think about where I'm coming from. So
Yeah,
there's nothing
definitely.
wrong with that.
Yes, sir.
So what do you guys have coming up next, man? Do you guys have any trips planned or any investigations planned?
Actually, I would love. We're going to talk, I think, tonight a little bit about maybe taking a road trip somewhere soon. What's that one you were talking about? Oh, I don't know if that's
in Mount Vernon, Illinois. There's a couple spots there. There's a path out there that's supposedly a haunted. It's Devil's Road, I think it is, or Devil's Path is what it's called. And then there's an old hospital there that nobody's hunted yet. It's been closed for about 10 or 15 years, but nobody's been in there. I have a couple connections that's going to try to get us there. We do have a private hunt getting ready to come up, but we're not sure of the date.
Yeah.
But we do have that. And if they let us go live, of course, we'll go live from there.
Absolutely.
We do have a YouTube page. We're going to start throwing our videos on that. And Paralink.com has a YouTube page of its own, too, that we'll be throwing videos on that here in the next month or so as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, do you guys do any kind of like the Paracons or any conferences or anything like that?
We're wanting to. I think this year we're really going to do it. We were concentrating more on getting, doing paranormal, learning the last few years. So I think we're ready to do like a Paracon, maybe even get a table,
So we've even gone above thinking about doing something other than just Paracons, right? We have, just for example, and I'm surprised more teams don't do this. We have a huge flea market down in Belleville.
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes from here. And they have, 5,000 people in a weekend come through it. We thought about setting up a table. We have merchandise that we do sell, but also have our tablets sitting out there for joining that paranormal, for not just for that. Don't get me wrong. That's not the whole reason, but also to talk about experience and also to let them know that there are people here that can do the hunt for them. Same thing with Paralink.com. We can double up on the cost and all that and support each other, as well as get people to come to both our sites and to let them know that this area has people to go, that can come help you if you have issues.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. That's great. I haven't been able to do one. Well, I don't say I haven't been able to. I just haven't done one. And eventually, I want to do one. Maybe this year I'll do one that's closer to home. there's a place in Jefferson, Texas. In April, they have it's like a Bigfoot conference. I forget what they call it, but it's in
Mhm.
Jefferson, Texas. They do one. We had one here for a while in Huntsville, Texas, which is like an hour north of Houston. But since COVID hit, they haven't had one. So I
Right.
Yeah.
hope they pick that up again. And there's where I met Bob Gimlin. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bob Gimlin.
The name sounds familiar.
He's one of the guys that filmed the 1967 Bigfoot walking across Bluff Creek.
Oh
The
yeah.
Patterson, yeah, the
Wow.
Patterson
Okay.
Gimlin film. That's like my I can die now and go to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
cool.
he's
Now,
a great guy, man. He's
yeah.
of course he's up there in age, but he's a great man to talk to. You can talk to him about anything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now that picture you took with the Gatorade bottle in the foot,
yeah.
how far away from where you are, like where you live, was that? Like,
That's like an maybe an hour and 20 minutes north of Houston,
okay,
um,
so
which is
close to
in
home.
National Forest. Um, yeah, it's not that bad of a drive,
Right.
and really just in the surrounding areas of Houston, it's a lot of it's very wooded. People think of Texas as it's flat land, you know,
Hmm.
Right.
desert area, but it's really not. It's actually pretty hilly. A lot of forest.
Yeah.
About east of Houston, about an hour east is what East Texas, and
Yeah.
it's very heavily wooded. A lot of Bigfoot sightings out there too, and actually, there's quite a few places here in Texas that have like what they call lights. I guess like the Marfa lights. There's the
Yeah.
Saratoga lights, where
Hmm.
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
see these lights, in the woods or this one road in particular in Saratoga, Texas, which is part of the big thicket, the forest there, and people see the lights there too. And have you guys experienced any of that, or know places like that near where you guys live?
Not
No, not
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 any
up here.
lights like that,
I've
but
seen the Northern Lights when I was in Canada once, or twice, but that's about
Okay,
it.
yeah,
yeah, that don't count.
yeah, yeah. If you
But
guys
no, no,
ever,
we don't. Not around here. We don't.
yeah, you guys can look that up on YouTube. One is called the Marfa lights, and the other one's is
Yeah.
the lights of Saratoga. And the Marfa lights are really weird because that is like a desert area, and they have like these orbs of light just shooting across the ground, at ground
Yeah.
level. It's
Oh, that's
crazy though.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've been trying to debunk that for years. They're
They've
saying,
had
"Oh,
people
it's
from all
cars."
over the world come and
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
I've seen that on YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely not a car.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not a car. It's not any kind of flesh and blood entity. Whatever it is, it's something else, man. It's pretty crazy.
Now, now, do you think there's like Bigfoots everywhere, like in every state? Every city?
So far, there's been reports in every single state other than Hawaii. So yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
There's actually reports down at the border. Texas border, Mexico border. There's reports in Mexico, South
Wow.
America. Of course, Russia and China. So
Yeah.
uh, there are reports all over the world on these creatures.
That might
Um,
be something, down the road we get into, 'cause we got a
Yeah,
lot of forests around here.
right?
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We
I,
have to find out where the sightings have been in Illinois and
Dude, I,
Missouri.
I, I I bet if you guys just Google Bigfoot sightings in Illinois, a bunch of stuff will come up.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We have to check
And
that
then you'll
out.
and, and then you'll go down another rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No
exactly.
kidding.
So, like, what does your family thinks? Like your surrounding family and friends, for that matter, about what you guys do?
Good.
Well, my wife's supportive. She's like I said, she's our camera person. I have three older kids, 29, 27, and 25. They get it, it's something I do, but they don't, they're not really involved with it. I'd like to get them more involved, and after their kids probably get a little bit older and stuff, they might get involved with it some more. Friend wise, like I said, Tom's one of my best friends. I got a couple other really good friends, but they know I do it, but they don't. It's not that they don't believe or anything like that. They just don't have the time to invest in it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go ahead, Tom.
And like I said, me and my daughter, she practically grew up watching all the shows on TV with me. And she could tell which ones were fake and what it wasn't. But as far as like all the family, they're all into it. You know, they're like, when you doing your next hunt? When you going here? And then if you say, do you want to go with us? They're like, no, we'll just watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all supportive. They think it's neat. So.
Well, his sister did come on a hunt with us.
Yeah, my sister
and her husband. Yeah, they came on a hunt with us. To the McPike Mansion up here in Alton a couple of years ago. So that was cool.
And my nephew, my sister's son, he's really into it. He likes to go with us when he can. He's a sophomore in high school, I think.
Okay.
Do your kids go Bigfoot hunting with you or not?
Yeah, they all have at some point in time, you know, and I guess I've used them for bait at some point in time. So
yeah, there you go.
But they're all firm believers in the paranormal because they have all had experiences with that, and all of them have actually seen a UFO, and so have I.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. My two daughters have seen that triangle type one, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, my son saw like a light that came down. He said it was kind of swinging back and forth like that. He said then it just shot off. He said it looked like something he saw like on Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a craft that came right above my head, you know, right over, you know, maybe like 300 feet above me. And like I tell everybody, a professional baseball player could have hit it with a baseball, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No
the Bigfoot
sound.
thing, yeah, no sound, no lights,
That's one thing.
so slow. I've never seen anything in the, you know, almost everything has to have some kind of airspeed to stay in the air, right? Unless
Yeah.
it's a helicopter. But this thing didn't have any kind of propeller, any kind of engines, any wings. It was a disc, and was like just super slow, It probably took 5 minutes out of sight, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they've all
That-
been bigfooting with me at one point in time or the other, and you know they believe in all this stuff. But my oldest, she now lives in California, and you know my son's married. Well, he's not married. He's married. He's a widow. He's a widower, and he has a
Sorry.
daughter, you know, that he's trying to raise. And you know my middle kid, my youngest kid, she's living her life. So she believes in, like everyone in my family, they come to me, whether it's uncles and aunts and cousins, even friends. You know, they'll shoot me an email, they'll shoot me a text, hey, this happened, or did you see this? And you know what? I got a very interesting pictures I want you guys to see.
Sure.
Um, so my sister had actually a few weeks ago was like, hey, she saw this post in her neighborhood, right? Of somebody posted that they saw a ghost at a local park that they were in that's by her house.
Mm.
And they said they didn't know, they thought it was like a person at first, but then when it started walking, it just disappeared in front of them. And
Hmm.
yeah, that they asked about it, and yeah, people came forward. I know we've seen that, and this has happened during the park before. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me see if I can pull that up. At
Okay.
least the picture. But you know, I like being this guy because people, like I said, they contact me, and even like my nephew last Friday morning, it was like 12:10 a.m. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Joe, check this out," and he sent me an article, you know, about the Russian troops getting like in a little firefight with a UFO years back. And
Really?
you know, I just thought it was cool that he thought about saying to me first, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm that guy that people contact, whether it be, you know, from work or like I said, family or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's-
You know, while you're looking for that, I pulled up the.
Hope he can't hear you.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I don't know if you can see that figure right there where
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
Right next to the pole
yeah,
or tree or whatever that is. Yeah.
yeah, there you go too. There's another one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they said
And
they followed it, nothing was there, huh?
yeah. Well, actually, they said it was walking towards them when it disappeared. So
Just
Huh.
disappeared.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
They thought it was a person at first, and they said that when they saw it, it kind of freaked them out because they were like, "Man, what's that? You know, man doing there? What's that guy doing there?" And
Yeah.
you know, they started checking it out, and they felt it was checking them out, so they started taking pictures of it, and then it disappeared.
Right.
It would have been cool if they had it on video and it disappeared as it's walking
Oh,
towards
wow.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
at
come to
least I
find
got.
out, at that park, somebody did die. I think it was like a drug dealer or something. It's actually a really good area, one of the better areas
Yeah.
in Houston. It's outside of Houston actually, but it's actually like a really nice area to live in.
Right. Well, when you said you pull up Illinois for a Bigfoot sighting, I
Right.
I did that on my phone. Well, you can't
Uh-huh.
see
You
it,
can't see it.
but
You got
it says,
the brightness down.
yeah, sorry, it said Shawnee National Forest, which is about
Oh
an
yeah.
hour and a half away from here. They numerous sightings of Bigfoot. I'm like, here we go. It's called the Garden
Here
of
we
the
go.
Gods.
Hey, creeks and springs are the places to check out. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, and that they said that place there had waterfalls, creeks, all kind of stuff there. It's a beautiful area. Caves.
Oh shoot, yeah, there you go. Good
So
luck.
yeah,
Maybe I'll get a road trip going over there.
yeah.
There you go, man. There you go.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
So, so you guys mainly do residential, or do you do other venues as well?
It
we
seems
do
like we've
all.
just been doing a lot of residential lately. We're trying to get some other places. Having the right contacts with people is a big thing as well in this business.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot ever since probably the last year, prices on everything's doubled to get into these places. I mean, you see people that just started ghost hunting, haven't really had too many investigations under their belt, charging money for people to come hunt with them. Not
Yeah.
saying it's right or wrong. Hey, to each their own.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's raised the prices of the places people want to go to hunt. So
Right, yeah.
residential
I
is
don't.
a good thing for us.
Yeah, I don't look down on anyone who's trying to earn a buck. But I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
sometimes they can go a little bit overboard.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
if people are going to pay it, why not? Right.
Totally agree.
Sure,
Like I said,
sure.
to each their own. But in the long process, though, it does raise, other people that see it, they'll raise their cost to get their share. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Like I don't charge people if they want to go out. With me. I just say, hey, come on down and meet me here, and we'll go out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've heard some outrageous pricing that goes on in the Bigfoot world too. I mean,
Oh, I
Yeah.
crazy.
bet.
Well, and then you're taking a chance because if you get out there and they're unhappy, they're going to leave you a bad review. They're going to
Right.
say this guy's horrible.
Well, it's like I tell everyone. So I have a lot of experiences out in the woods, but
Yeah.
really, in all honesty, the amount of experiences that I've had Bigfooting compared to how many times I go out is like minuscule. It's
Hmm.
kind of like when you go fishing, you're not always going to catch anything, right?
Agreed.
And
That's
that's what I
true.
tell people. Sometimes when you go Bigfooting, all you're doing is camping. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but I'm happy with just camping. So
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like hiring a guide to go fishing, right? You go down to
right,
Florida, you hire a guy to take you out on the sea to catch some red tarpon or whatever, and
yeah,
you
Yeah.
come back with nothing. Ain't his fault. It's just they weren't biting that day.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
So I don't
Exactly.
take anybody out, and then I certainly don't take them out to certain areas because it's pretty scary for me. So I don't want to take them. And I've heard some
Right.
crazy stories from my friends who like, hey, I took this guy out and he started shooting the gun, and like what?
Oh,
And he's
crap.
like, yeah, I started shooting his gun at something that he heard move or something. And
yeah,
I'm like, man,
Wow.
so we try to vet people as good as we can because that's the last thing
yeah,
you need someone out there who's either trigger happy or just easily scared.
agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that could end bad.
Right. Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah. Go ahead.
hey, so one thing I was going to add to the Warren Legacy Foundation. I don't know if you heard of that or not. It's the Ed and Lorraine Warren family, the Conjuring home and all that stuff. I can't really talk too much about it, but I am a member.
Okay.
So if anybody listening, or if you know of people that are having paranormal issues, they can reach out to them. They can go to the Warren Legacy Foundation website, and there's actually a place on there they can hit contact us, and then it'll need help, you click that button and you can fill out a whole, there's like a little bit of an application, for lack of a better word. There's a form you got to fill out basically. And they're all over the world too. They can come check it out for you. You know, it's a free service for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've actually heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good service. It is.
So, what kind of advice would you guys give to like newbies, people who want to do this? You have any advice for them?
Yes. Make sure if you're going to do this that you understand what you're getting into. Don't just jump in and be like, "Oh, I bought an EMF and this. I'm going to go and don't be yelling. Come out right now. Don't be taunting."
Yeah.
I mean, some people do, but you better be ready for what's coming. What could possibly happen.
We both Tom and I have a strong faith in God, and Heather and Amy, and we pray before we go in. We pray when we come out. Stay here. We got to the point where we've used sage before to cleanse anything around us. I had something I thought was attached to me for a while.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and I ended up having. I was at Ashmore Estates with Nick Groff, and Tom was with us and my wife. And I put that camera I was talking about in a room, and I went back across to grab it, and I was walking across the hall. It's dark up there except for a little light from a street light, and I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye, and something hit my shoulder, and it gave me what I thought was a pinched nerve. And it's just weird because if scientifically thinking, I probably just turned the wrong way, thought I saw a shadow, something like that. But I'll be darned if I went through the worst pain for a full month before they got me into some therapy. I mean, I was sleeping 1 hour a night on a couch, sitting up. That's the only way I could sleep. Getting in my hot tub a couple of times a day. And my insurance finally decided to do a CAT scan on me after a month, and I was missing a disc in my neck. I don't know how the hell that happened,
Figure
right?
that out.
I mean,
Wow.
I had no pain in it before, right?
Wow.
And I'm just up there at that place. So during that month, though, I went up to the Alton Mineral Springs. I had them do a cleansing on me. I guess it was about 6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's 6 months before I had the surgery. But I had them do a spiritual cleansing on me, talking about, there's actually Indians in our area at one point in time, went all the way back into that. And then went over there the day they did the surgery. Best feeling I ever had in my life, man. Took care of it. They just put a little piece of metal, looks like a little Pac-Man, just stuck it in there, and I said I'll never have issues with it again. But of all the things, right, on one night at that place, somehow I turned the wrong way and my disc blows in my neck.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a come to God thing right there, because I wasn't sure if I was going to get back into it. But
Yeah,
I survived. Yeah, I survived it. So the advice to give to those people, just like you're asking, right, is you got to have a lot of faith. Don't taunt it like Tom's saying. You got to have a lot of time on your hands to do this. And it is going to, if you want to do other than private hunts, it is going to cost you money. You're going to have to get these places to go to and stuff like that. You need to invest in some good equipment. You can go old school with dowsing rods and EMF. And I know some people that still do that. Or you can go, we have a lot of equipment. But like I said, my buddy Sean built a couple things, but we have spirit boxes. We have, the SLS cameras and stuff like that too. So, but you really got to believe too.
Yeah. Go with an open mind. You have to. And like Tracy said, you got to be patient. This is not like you're going to walk in the house and it's going to happen right then,
Right.
Every spirit box is going to throw a couple words out here and there regardless.
Right.
But you really got to listen for those words that you almost can't hear, right? And you can't just keep. One thing we learned is right off the bat, we were asking question after question after question. You got to give it time to answer.
Yeah.
So once we started learning that, we started getting a lot more feedback through our spirit boxes and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So what tools do you guys like to use as far as your equipment goes? you guys have a favorite piece of equipment?
Oh wow!
When we
like,
yeah,
sorry, the SLS camera. We really like that. That's the one that shows like the stick figure. The one that Tracy talked about that Sean put together. Well, actually, you made it. Was the spirit box? What's it called? Not.
Oh, it's almost like a
a
geo box that
you don't have the static in the background.
Yeah. There's a lot of different apps out there that can help you with that. I use a certain app, but I have an old 1930s radio that I converted over to a Bluetooth with graphics on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it goes with the spirit box. So I like that piece of equipment. My favorite one is what Sean had made, that camera, that just a stationary camera. You can go to YouTube with it. You can do whatever you want. It's a computer inside of a camera. But the reason I like it is just like you were talking about orbs. There's a distinction. You know, if you get an orb out there, I mean, it could be a piece of dust, right? If it's just floating across the room, not doing anything, it's possibly a piece of dust. If it's in your garage, it's really hard to tell.
Right.
But this camera catches those orbs, not all of them, but it'll catch one if it's there long enough, because this camera is designed to capture a face. If you've ever zoomed in on a real orb, it looks like a face.
Right.
There's actually a face. It's creepy as can be. I would have never believed it till I saw one, right?
Right. Yeah.
And this camera has caught probably only 3 out of all of our hunts, orb-wise. One of them looked like a jackal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was at the McPike Mansion. One of them, I think, was at my brother's house up there in Alton, and it had a face. And then the other one, I'm not sure where it was, I can't remember, but it had a face as well. So that's my favorite piece of equipment, is that, because it captures that, it captures any movement, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I've actually seen one picture that somebody sent to me of an orb, and you zoomed in, and there was a face on it. I was like, "Holy cow!" And this particular one, it was pretty creepy. It looked like a human face, but it was a pretty creepy looking face. You know, this one was. I don't know if it was meant to look creepy or that's just the way the face was, but yeah.
And if you see the orb like zigzagging real quick, it's not dust. That's going to be, that's an actual orb, right?
Yeah. The one when I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. It went like that, and then it just took off to the side.
Yep, that's typically an orb. Yeah.
And in that house that we lived in, I wish I still had that video, but it was on an old phone. I mean, there was just like so many orbs in the room. I mean, 50, 60 orbs just flying around the room like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, my brother's house, before he sold it, it was just like that too. He'd have like 10 or 20 orbs in there. Yeah. He had it on his camera. He did, just on his phone camera one night, just walking in the front room, and you see him going ever. And they're different colors.
Right.
That's what freaked me out the most. I was like, wow, that's weird. That's different colors.
Now, speaking of different colors, when me and my daughter went to the Alton Cemetery, it's on one side it has the military, where their military people are buried.
The vets.
Yeah, the vet. But we were taking pictures with my camera, just still pictures, and I caught everything between blue orbs, orange, white, and you could see it, and some of them had a tail on it, like they were just moving across the graveyard. Wow. And I have that on my computer. I need to actually put that on our page, because that was the first time I really realized, oh my gosh, we're getting all these orbs. This is neat. Mm-hmm. And, she's heard voices out there. We have them on a spirit box, but the whole thing fascinates me, because of the unknown, You never know what you're going to get.
No. Well, cool, man. We're coming up on our hour here, man. Is there anything else you guys want to add, or you guys have any words of wisdom for the audience?
No, just
for me, it's just, hey, come check out that Paranormal T.H.A.T Paranormal Crew on Facebook.
Right.
Come check it out. Join up. Post whatever you want on it. Just make sure it's about the paranormal. And then I'm going to say the same thing about paralink.com. It is a social media platform. Check it out. And Joe, there is a UFO section on there too. There's about 8 or 9 sections, categories. Okay. And
I want to see UFOs. I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few people that have posted on there already some articles and stuff like that. So that might interest you personally. There is going to be cryptids on there soon with Bigfoot and all that. We've been talking about that for 2 weeks now. Just appreciate it if everybody would, attempt to at least join. We don't ask for personal private information at all. It's just your email and a password. That's it. But yeah, no, that's all I really have. Just check it out and check out that paranormal. And one day, Joe, we might make it down your way to go Bigfoot hunting with you.
Yeah,
maybe we make it up that way, dude.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you guys, and the guys in the chat. Thanks for joining, and I was glad we saw somebody from the UK come in, so that was pretty cool. And
John and Laura.
Yeah, if you guys, like I said, you guys need anything, man, hit me up. I'll be happy to share it and post it for you guys. That's just what I believe in doing, man. And I don't know what to say, but other than you guys go and enjoy the rest of your night, I've got nachos and wings and waiting on me, man.
Yeah. Finish watching that football game, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thanks for having us on, Joe. We appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank
man,
you.
It was a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure talking to you guys, and we'll do it again sometime in the future. And you guys take care of each other.
All right, buddy. You too. Thank you.
Stay in touch.
Good night, everybody. You guys hold on real quick.